Hello and welcome to Bedtime with Bird. I'm Courtney Dawn. Our hearts ride with you. We are birds on the same wind. Let's start with our first story tonight, shall we? This is one of our favorites. As you can tell, it's pretty well loved. This is from when I was a little girl. Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. Are you ready, boys and girls? Let's read. Oh, look. Courtney Dawn. I wrote that when I was a little girl. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. I sat there with Sally. We sat there, we two. And I said, how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out and too cold to play ball, so we sat in the house. We did nothing at all. So all we could do was sit, 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 and we did not like it, not one little bit. Does that sound like some of our days lately? A little bit, doesn't it, boys and girls? I wonder what they'll find to do. Bump! And then something went bump. How that bump made us jump. We looked, then we saw him step in on the mat. We looked, then we saw him, the cat in the hat. And he said to us, why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun that is funny. I know some good games we could play, said the cat. I know some new tricks, said the cat in the hat. A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Then Sally and I did not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. But our fish said, no, no, make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. You do not want, or he should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here when your mother is out. Now, have no fear, said the cat. My tricks are not bad, said the cat in the hat. Why, we can have fun, lots of good fun if you wish, with a game that I call Up with the Fish. Put me down, said the fish. This is no fun at all. Put me down, said the fish. I do not wish to fall. Oh, I think we have a Noodle visitor. Come on, Noodle. Come on, sweet boy. Up, up, up. Have no fear, said the cat. I will not let you fall. I will hold you up high as I stand on a ball, with a book in one hand and a cup on my hat. But that is not all I can do, said the cat. I wonder what else he can do, boys and girls. Not fancy. Look at me now, said the cat, with a cup and a cake on the top of my hat. I can hold up 2 books and a little toy, or I can hold up the fish and a little toy ship and some milk on a dish. And look, I can hop up and down on the ball, but that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. That's a lot. More than I can do, I think. How about you, Noodle? What can you do? Look at me, look at me, look at me now. It is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. I can hold up the cup and the milk and the cake. I can hold up these books and the fish on a rake. I can hold the toy ship and a little toy man. And look, with my tail, I can hold a red fan. I can fan with the fan as I hop on the ball. But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. That is what the cat said. Then he fell on his head. He came down with a bump from up there on the ball, and Sally and we saw all those things fall. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. That's a lot of things to fall, Noodle. That's a big mess. And our fish came down too. He fell into a pot. He said, Do I like this? Oh, no, I do not. This is not a good game, said our fish as he lit. No, I do not like it, not one little bit. It's a very cranky fish. He called it, didn't he? Now look what you did, said the fish to the cat. Now look at this house. Now look this, look at that. You sank our toy ship, sank it deep in the cake. You shook up our house and you bent our new rake. You should not be here when our mother is not. You get out of this house, said the fish in the pot. They should have been socially isolating, huh? Should have been at their own houses. That cat should not have come over. But I like to be here. Oh, I like it a lot, said the cat in the hat to the fish in the pot. I will not go away. I do not wish to go. And so, said the cat, so, I will show you another good game that I know. Oh, that silly cat. He knows lots of things, doesn't he? It's kind of fun. And then he ran out, and then fast as a fox, the cat in the hat came back with a box. A big red wood box. It was shut with a hook. Now look at this trick, said the cat. Take a look. Oh my, what do you think's in the box? Then he got up on top with the tip of his hat. I call this game fun in a box, said the cat. In this box are two things I will show to you now. You will like these two things, said the cat with a bow. Well, fun in a box, let's find out. I will pick up the hook. You will see something new. Two things. And I call them thing one and thing two. These things will not bite you. They want to have fun. Then out of the box came thing two and thing one. And they ran to us fast. They said, how do you do? Would you like to shake hands with thing one and thing two? And Sally and I did not know what to do, so we had to shake hands with thing one and thing two. We shook their two hands, but our fish said, no, those things should not be in this house. Make them go. They should not be here when your mother is out. Put them out. Put them out. When your mother is not. Put them out, said the fish in the pot. There we go, that rhymes. That makes more sense. There's a very smart fish. Should we let strangers in our house when our mother is not home? No, we shouldn't. Listen to the fish. Smart fish. I like this fish. Very wise, boys and girls. Have no fear, little fish, said the cat in the hat. These things are good things. And he gave them a pat. They are tame. Oh, so tame. They've come here to play. They will give you some fun on this wet, wet, wet day. Very naughty cat. And here is the game that they like, said the cat. They like to fly kites, said the cat in the hat. No, not in the house, said the fish in the pot. They should not fly kites in a house. They should not. He's a very smart fish for living in a house his whole life. Smart. Oh, the things they will bump. Oh, the things they will hit. Oh, I do not like it. Not one little bit. I'm with you. I think this cat has been in the house too long. Then Sally and I saw them run down the hall. We saw those two things bump their kites on the wall. Oh, Mom's going to be mad when she gets home. Bump, thump, thump, bump down the wall in the hall. That naughty cat and those things. It's terrible. Thing two and thing one, they ran up, they ran down. On the string of one kite, we saw Mother's new gown. Oh, no. Her gown with the dots that are pink, white, and red. Then we saw one kite bump on the head of her bed. Oh no, Mother will be so upset. Then those things ran about with big bumps, jumps, and kicks, and with hops and big thumps and all kinds of bad tricks. And I said, I do not like the way that they play. If Mother could see this, oh, what would she say? I think I know what she would say. Naughty cat and naughty things. Get my dress down, she would say. Then our fish said, look, look. And our fish shook with fear. Your mother is on her way home, do you hear? Oh, what will she do to us? What will she say? Oh, she will not like it to find it this way. Mom's on her way home. Do something fast, said the fish. Do you hear? I saw her, your mother. Your mother is near. So as fast as you can, think of something to do. You will have to get rid of thing 1 and thing 2. Get rid of them. Where are they going to go? So as fast as I could, I went after my net. And I said, with my net, I can get them, I bet. I bet with my net, I can get those things yet. Glad he had a net lying around. A big net. What kind of butterflies has he been catching? Then I let down my net. It came down with a plop. And I had them at last. Those 2 things had to stop. Then I said to the cat, now you do as I say. You pack those things up and you take them away. Oh dear, said the cat. You did not like our game? Oh dear, what a shame. What a shame, what a shame. Oh, maybe the cat didn't mean to be so naughty. Then he shut the things in the box with a hook, and the cat went away with a kind of sad look. That is good, said the fish. He has gone away, yes, but your mother will come and she will find this big mess. And this mess is so big and so deep and so tall, we cannot pick it up. There's no way at all. That is a giant mess. What are they going to do? And then, who was back in the house? Why, the cat. Have no fear of this mess, said the cat in the hat. I always pick up all my playthings, and so I will show you another good trick that I know. Oh, that silly cat. He saved the day. Then we saw him pick up all the things that were down. He picked up the cake and the rake and the gown and the milk and the strings and the books and the dish and the fan and the cup and the ship and the fish. And then he put them away. And then he said, that is that. And then he was gone with the tip of his hat. Then our mother came in and she said to us too, did you have any fun? Tell me, what did you do? And Sally and I did not know what to say. Should we tell her the things that went on here this day? Should we tell her about it? Now, what should we do? Well, what would you do if your mother asked you? The end. Wasn't that a fun book, boys and girls? That's one of my favorites, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. All right, I think we have some birthdays. We even missed a few over the weekend. So we have a happy birthday to Henry. We have a happy birthday to Dawn. We have a happy birthday to Miss Linda. We have a happy birthday to Miss Sarah. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Linda and Sarah and Mr. Don and Henry. Happy birthday to all of you and many more. All right, we are going to go on to our next book tonight. Are you ready? This one is called Enemy Pie. Have you heard it before? It's one of our favorites. They all are, aren't they? I say that every time. It's one of our favorites by Derek Munson, illustrated by Tara Callahan King. Enemy Pie. Well, when I find one that isn't one of our favorites, maybe I'll tell you. But until then, they're all our favorites. Aren't they, Noodle? For my best enemy. Oh, I like that on our title page. It should have been a perfect summer. My dad helped me build a tree house in our backyard. My sister was away at camp for 3 weeks. Ooh, getting away with a sister for 3 weeks, that's pretty good. And I was on the best baseball team in town. It should have been the perfect summer, but it wasn't. It was all good until Jeremy Ross moved into the neighborhood, right next door to my best friend Stanley. I did not like Jeremy Ross. He laughed at me when he struck me out in a baseball game. He had a party on his trampoline. I wasn't even invited. My best friend Stanley was. Jeremy Ross was the one and only person on my enemy list. I never even had an enemy list until he moved into this neighborhood. But as soon as he came along, I needed one. I hung it in my treehouse where Jeremy Ross was not allowed to go. You ever had an enemy list? I've never had anyone like Jeremy Ross in my neighborhood. Dad understood stuff like enemies. He told me that when he was my age, he had enemies too. But he knew a way to get rid of them. I asked him to tell me how. Tell you how? I'll show you how, he said. He pulled a really old recipe book off the kitchen shelf. Inside, there was a worn out scrap of paper with faded writing. Dad held it up and squinted at it. Enemy pie, he said, satisfied. You may be wondering what exactly is in enemy pie. I was wondering too, but Dad said the recipe was so secret he couldn't even tell me. I decided it must be magic. I begged him to tell me something, anything. I'll tell you this, he said. Enemy pie is the fastest known way to get rid of enemies. Now, of course, that got my mind working. What kinds of disgusting things would I put into a pie for an enemy? I brought Dad some weeds from the garden, but he just shook his head. I brought him some earthworms and rocks, but he didn't think he'd need those. I gave him the gum I had been chewing on all morning. He gave it right back to me. I went out to play alone. I shot baskets until the ball got stuck on the roof. I threw a boomerang that never came back to me. And all the while, I listened to the sounds of my dad chopping and stirring and blending all of the ingredients to enemy pie. This could be a great summer after all. Enemy pie was going to be awful. I tried to imagine how horrible it must smell, or worse yet, what it would look like. But when I was in the backyard looking for ladybugs, I smelled something really, really good. And as far as I could tell, it was coming out of our kitchen. I was a bit confused. I went in to ask Dad what was wrong. Enemy pie should not smell this good. But Dad was smart. If enemy pie smelled bad, your enemy would never eat it, he said. I could tell he'd made enemy pie before. The buzzer rang, and Dad put the oven mitts on as he pulled the pie from the oven. It looked like plain old pie. It smelled good enough to actually eat. I was catching on, but still, I wasn't really sure how this enemy pie worked. What exactly did it do to enemies? Maybe it made their hair fall out. Or like made their breath really stinky. Maybe it made bullies cry. I asked Dad, but he was no help. He wouldn't tell me anything. But while the pie cooled, he filled me in on my job. He talked quietly. There is one part of enemy pie that I cannot do. In order for it to work, you need to spend a day with your enemy. Even worse, you have to be nice to him. It will not be easy. But that's the only way the enemy pie will work. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Well, of course I was. It sounded horrible. It was scary, but it was worth a try. All I had to do was spend one day with Jeremy Ross. Then he'd be out of my hair for the rest of my life. I rode my bike to his house and I knocked on the door. It's a very smart dad. When Jeremy opened the door, he seemed surprised, but he stood on the other side of the screen and looked at me, waiting for me to say something. I was nervous. Can you play? I asked. He looked confused. I'll go ask my mom, he said. He came back with shoes in his hand. His mom walked around the corner to say hello. You boys stay out of trouble, she said, smiling. It was strange, but I was kind of having fun. Oh. We rode bikes for a while and played on the trampoline. Then we made some water balloons and threw them at the neighbor girls, but we missed. Jeremy's mom made us lunch, and after lunch, we went over to my house. It was strange, but I was kind of having fun with Jeremy, or with my enemy. He almost seemed nice. But of course I couldn't tell Dad that since he had worked so hard to make this enemy pie. Jeremy Ross liked my basketball hoop. He said he wished he had a basketball hoop, but they didn't have room for one. I let him win a game, just to be nice. Jeremy Ross knew how to throw a boomerang. He threw it and it came right back to him. I threw it, and it went over my house and into the backyard. When we climbed over the fence to find it, the first thing Jeremy noticed was my treehouse. My treehouse was my treehouse. I was the boss. If my sister wanted in, I didn't have to let her in. If my dad wanted in, I didn't have to let him in. And if Jeremy wanted in, can we go in? He asked. I knew he was going to ask me that, but he was the top person, the only person on my enemy list. And enemies weren't allowed in my treehouse. But he did teach me to throw a boomerang. And he did have me over for lunch. And he did let me play on his trampoline. And he wasn't being a very good enemy. Okay, I said, just hold on. I climbed up ahead of him and tore the enemy list off the wall. I had a checkerboard and some cars in my treehouse, and we played games until my dad called us down for dinner. We pretended we didn't hear him, and when he came out to get us, we tried to hide from him, but somehow he found us. Dad made us macaroni and cheese for dinner, my favorite. It was Jeremy's favorite too. Maybe Jeremy Ross wasn't so bad after all. I was beginning to think maybe we should just forget about the enemy pie. But sure enough, after dinner, Dad brought out the pie. I watched as he cut the pie into 8 thick slices. Dad, I said, it sure is nice having a new friend in the neighborhood. I was trying to get his attention and trying to tell him that Jeremy Ross was no longer an enemy. Oh, Noodle. But Dad only smiled and nodded. I think he thought I was just pretending. Dad dished up 3 plates side by side with big pieces of pie and giant scoops of ice cream. He passed one to me and one to Jeremy. Wow, Jeremy said, looking at the pie. My dad never makes pies like this. It was at this point I panicked. I didn't want Jeremy to eat enemy pie. He was my friend. I couldn't let him eat it. Jeremy, don't eat it. It's bad pie. I think it's like poisonous or something. Jeremy's fork stopped before reaching his mouth. He crumbled his eyeballs and looked at me funny, and I felt relieved. I had saved his life. I was a hero. If it's so bad, Jeremy asked, then why has your dad already eaten half of it? I turned to look at my dad. Sure enough, Dad was eating enemy pie. Good stuff, he mumbled through a mouthful. And that was all he had to say. I sat there watching them eat enemy pie for a few seconds. Dad was laughing. Jeremy was happily eating, and neither of them was losing any hair. Safe enough. So I took a tiny taste. Enemy pie was delicious. After dessert, Jeremy rode his bike home, but not before inviting me over to play on his trampoline in the morning. He said he'd teach me how to flip. As for enemy pie, I still don't know how to make it. I wonder if enemies really do hate it, or if their hair falls out, or their breath really turns bad. But I don't know if I'll ever get an answer, because I just lost my best enemy. The end. Oh, wasn't that a good book, boys and girls? I love that one. Enemy Pie. Oh, is that a good book? Should we sing a short song before we go tonight? I think so. Let's see. Let's sing. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Thank you so much for spending a night reading some stories with us here at Bedtime with Bird. My brain tonight. We just love that you spend time with us here at Bedtime with Bird. Oh, we have some sniffles and some coughs going around. It's allergy season here. Is it allergy season for you too? We've been out in the garden all day. So tonight, where should we meet in our dreams? Did you have fun the other night in the garden? Let's see, tonight, since we sang Twinkle Twinkle, let's meet in the stars, shall we? Let's be shooting stars tonight. Let's be shooting stars. I'm going to be a giant shooting star with a silver and purple polka dot tail shooting behind me. That's what I'm going to be. And I'll be singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's how you'll know it's Miss Courtney Dawn. What will you be? Will you be a shooting star, or will you be a planet? Will you be a nebula? What will you be in the sky tonight? Let's meet in our dreams. So right before you go to sleep tonight, think real hard and meet Miss Courtney Dawn and all the other boys and girls and everyone else in our dreams, okay? Well, thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on Bedtime with Bird on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, our hearts ride with you. We are birds on the same wind. Good night, friends. Muzzle.